On behalf of the graduates of the class of 2020, it is my pleasure to welcome all parents, teachers, students, relatives, and friends of East Canton High School to our virtual graduation. I never thought I'd be saying that, but here we are. Most welcome speeches talk about the excitement building up for each graduate. The last week walking through the halls and seeing everyone's faces, all the talk about graduation parties happening throughout the summer, the amazing senior fun day, the last prom, senior breakfast, the senior award ceremony, and even graduation practice. Sadly, we didn't get to experience all those things together, but I'm sure we're still all feeling the excitement of walking across that stage after 13 years of school. It may not be what we expected, and I'm sure we're all wishing COVID-19 wouldn't have ruined all these amazing memories for us, but we've definitely had our fun together throughout the years. When our class was going into high school, I know most teachers weren't ready for us, but I believe we really grew into great young adults. We've made a great impact on teachers and other students, and I know our class definitely will not be forgotten. Looking back, our class has been a part of and helped to achieve many goals throughout these 4 years. In our sports teams, such as boys and girls cross country, football, basketball, softball, baseball, and track, we've shown everyone what we can do, and these accomplishments will definitely be talked about again during this ceremony. We were also here for 2 of our school's musicals, which a few of us even participated in. And we can't forget all the academic milestones we've reached as a class here at EC or at other schools for our career tech students. No matter what we've achieved throughout these 4 years, big, small, or different, each of us were there for each other to show how proud we were. Talking to one another, even as different groups, this class is and always will be a family. We've made our mark and are ready to take this next step into our futures. It's time to take on our dreams and make them become a reality. Our respect and loyalty we have for one another will take us so far, but wherever each one of us go, East Canton will always be home. It will also be a place we can come back to for memories or old friends. As we walk across that stage, I hope all of you remember that. And thank you again to all of our teachers and families at East Canton High School. So now we will look at our graduates and enjoy our memories, celebrate their accomplishments, and send them off to their future.
Fellow graduates and guests, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, as we gather here this afternoon to celebrate the class of 2020's graduation ceremony, we want to express our thanks to you for the opportunity to share this special and momentous day with our family, friends, teachers, and administration. We want to ask for your blessing on each and every one of these seniors. We ask you that you help them to remember in the days, weeks, months, and years to come that they will be faced with many challenges. Yet, Heavenly Father, they have all the skills, resources, and opportunities and support surrounding them to leave here today and pursue their goals and conquer their dreams. But most importantly, we should always remember that you, God, are here to listen to us, support us, and guide us through good times and the bad. In your name we pray. Amen.
Good morning or afternoon, depending on where your last name falls in the alphabet. I want to start by thanking everyone at EC, the board, staff, and faculty for the dedication of their time to us students, as well as to all the parents for their continual support of their graduate and their classmates. As my father would say, this is my time to shine, so I would like to individually thank some of the staff who have had a significant impact in brightening my life these past 4 years. Mr. Mundy, while I didn't thrive in your classroom, you soon grew to be one of my favorite people. And your assistance has had a direct impact on how my future college career will play out, so thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Kimball, for your constant smile and positivity. Thank you, Mrs. Barwick and Mr. Hinton, for helping me through the hard times, as well as working tirelessly for these good times. And I think we should all be thanking Mrs. Raber, because without her writing guidance and comp this year, this speech would be less than beautiful. I would also like to take this time to thank the people who directly dealt with my tears and constant stress. I hope this moment is worth it. Thank you to my parents for their continuous love and support, and for always bringing my lunch when I was more worried about my outfit in the morning. But I guess that paid off because I was voted best dressed. And thank you for those late nights, from helping me finish an art project I swear would cost me my perfect GPA at midnight freshman year, to scrambling to find my calculator charger 2 days ago for my final high school test in the morning. And thank you to my brother Nicholas for being an example of hard work and perseverance, as well as always keeping me humble. You assured I never got too confident, and for that, I guess I am thankful. Writing this speech is probably the hardest assignment I've ever been given, and to think I worked so hard for it. Although I spent all 4 years of high school working for this underwhelming medal and speech opportunity, I had no idea the direction I wanted to go with the speech. So I handed my Bible to my mother. She settled in the book of Proverbs. For those of you who are not familiar with the writer of this book of the Bible, Solomon, he is known as the wisest man to ever have lived, and I do not say those words in exaggeration, as Solomon was granted his uncomparable wisdom straight from the Lord. Our newly recognized wisdom showcased in these diplomas we will soon receive is incomparable to the magnitude of Solomon's. But that is why speaking his wisdom seems a lot more beneficial to you fellow graduates than anything I could come up with myself. He says, the beginning of wisdom is this: get wisdom. And we've done that. Though it costs all you have, get understanding. We've worked for this wisdom, and I can say it's cost us hours of sleep and time with our friends. But today, we recognize these sacrifices in wisdom, so congratulations, class of 2020, on completing step 1. Now, to apply our wisdom. For we are nothing without wisdom, we are nothing without God, and we are nothing if we do not utilize our wisdom. By wisdom, a house is built, and through understanding, it is established. Our lives, our futures, are built on the lessons we have been taught in these past 12 years. And no, not the lessons that taught us SOHCAHTOA or that the mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Sorry, Mrs. Drager and Mr. Landon. The lessons we learned in Mr. Hitton's office, the lessons we learned on the other side of a bad grade, the lessons we learned from each other. While we may not recall these specific moments, these lessons will shape how we handle discipline, how we handle an overwhelming work assignment, and how we handle our future coworkers and families. We have been trained up in the way we should go, and as we transfer into this next chapter in our lives, I am sure we will not depart from it. Now, we are not done receiving wisdom. Our greatest lessons are still to come. So I urge you all to not be fools. As Solomon warns us, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but fools despise knowledge and instruction. Whether it's in the military, a classroom, or in the work field, learn from those wiser, our future teachers and mentors. As iron sharpens iron, one person sharpens another. Listen to advice and accept discipline, and at the end, you will be counted among the wise. You see, Solomon was a king, not a serf or a beggar, but he still served the Lord unconditionally and requested his wisdom. I pray you all desire to continue to learn, as we have much more to offer this world, only if we take up the knowledge to do so. Fellow classmates, this is when it counts. Many of us have already started our futures by attending college orientations, interviewing for a job, or swearing into the military. We are prepared for these next steps, and we are excited. While all the trials and tribulations we have encountered over these past 12 years are nothing compared to the joy and exciting endeavors to come, they are also not the last hardships we will face. As our great president once said, remember this: nothing we're doing ever came easy. Following your convictions mean you must be willing to face criticism from those who lack the same courage to do what is right. So, class of 2020, have that courage to go after your greatest desires and use your learned wisdom to do what is right along the way. While this day will become a memory and the accomplished feeling I believe we are all holding on to will fade, I hope you will hold on to your feeling of excitement for the future and use it to jump right in. Leaving behind East Canton High School may be sad, but it's necessary, and for it, we will be better. So graduates, take up your wisdom, move your tassels, and enter into the rest of your lives with the same excitement you left school with on March 13th. Thank you, and I can't wait to see all the amazing things the East Canton High School class of 2020 shall accomplish in the future after we go our separate ways. As for me, go Bucks!
Dear class of 2020, congratulations on your graduation from East Canton High School. It's been an honor for me to observe the many accomplishments and achievements that you have had both academically, athletically, and in the performing arts. Please know that as your superintendent, that I am very proud of you. I am proud of the perseverance that you've demonstrated the past 10 weeks. I am proud that you adjusted to remote learning. And I am proud of the way that you have supported one another during this difficult time. COVID-19 has left an indelible mark on your senior year and in our world. However, within every challenge lies opportunity. We have all had the opportunity to self-reflect and think about who we want to be and what we want to stand for. Don't take this opportunity for granted. Who do you want to be, and what do you want to stand for? When you figure out the answers to these questions, go make it happen. Don't look back. The faculty in East Canton schools have prepared you to thrive during this crisis. They have trained you how to solve complex problems with no clear solutions. They have trained you to work together. They've trained you to be creative. And they have trained you to never, ever give up. Part of our district mission is to help you find your passion and purpose in life. You all possess gifts and strengths that are uniquely your own. Go forth and use those gifts to find your own happiness and to serve others. When you fall, get up. When you think you're defeated, think again. Be positive. Be grateful. Enjoy your friends. Live life with enthusiasm. And remember, tough times never last, but tough people do. May you all be blessed with peace, happiness, and good health in your journey ahead. And Godspeed to all of you. It is my honor to introduce our 2020 graduation speaker, Mr. Mundy. Mr. Mundy is a 1968 graduate of East Canton High School, where he was a member of the Senate League champion baseball team. He has just completed his 47th year in education, 30 of which have been in East Canton schools. Mr. Mundy has announced his retirement at the end of the 2019-2020 school year. He received his bachelor's degree from Malone University. He describes East Canton as a special place because of the family atmosphere. In 2019, Mr. Mundy represented East Canton on the All-Star County teaching team, an honor in which he points to as his best memory in education. His wife of 40 years, Karen, is the former editor of the Press News. Mr. Mundy has two daughters, Adriana and Ashley, who graduated from East Canton in 2000 and 2003, respectively. His son, Ian, graduated from East Canton in 2011, and his stepson, Jamie, graduated from Heritage Christian in 1990. It is my pleasure to introduce to you Mr. Mundy.
Thank you, Superintendent Frenfrock, for the kind words. Board of Education, administration, family, friends, and guardians, and most of all, class of 2020. It's a real privilege to bring this graduation speech to you. When Mr. Hinton first came to me about making this speech, I wasn't so sure about doing this because I've had a lot of you in class for 2 years. You've had all these good teachers, you've had all these good coaches, and I wondered, what in the world could I say to you that you haven't heard before? And you know I don't like to bore people. But he asked me to think about it, so I did, and I went home and I talked to two people who are smarter than me. First was my wife, Karen, who edited Press News for 27 years and knows a lot about public speaking. And the other is Pastor Gene Carter of Northern Christian Church, a friend of ours, who also knows a lot about public speaking. And they gave me the same advice. They said, you can do this. Just keep it short, keep it simple, and you can do a really nice little address. I still wasn't so sure, but I gave it some more thought, because when I do this speech, I would have to accomplish two purposes. One would be I've got to say something that's honest because you know that's what I do. And secondly, it needs to be positive, and we both know that honest and positive don't always go together. But as I gave it some thought, an idea came to me. Now, you've been in my classroom and you know that it's not unusual for ideas to occur and us to try different things, but this was different. An idea came to me, and then another piece, and another piece, and I took it out and I looked at it and I thought, this would just be ideal. So, here we go. Now, the source of my idea comes from a really good source. And it would be kind of like going to Mrs. Raber for advice about life, or going to Mrs. Barwick for advice about your senior schedule. You know you're going to get something really good. And this really good thing comes from the biblical book of wisdom, Ecclesiastes, in the 3rd chapter, which you may not know, but you know these lines. They're the lines that say that there's a time and a season for everything. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to plant, a time to harvest, and so on and so on. So I got that, and so I thought, well, there must be a time to graduate. Yeah, and I had the same thought that you're having right now. No duh, really, water is wet. But as I looked at that, I saw something I never thought about before, and it made perfect sense for you and for me. Now, to accomplish this, I have to create a bond between you and I, because we have this shared experience, and it's from that experience that this is all going to work for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go time traveling. We're going to go back to the spring of 1968. I'm in the Smith Gym, and I'm waiting to graduate. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of context. Mr. Hall, he's a little 4-year-old mad scientist running around taking things apart, trying to put them back together again. And Mrs. Kimball, well, she's in diapers. She's celebrated her first birthday on May 11th. So this gives you an idea of how that sets up. So in your senior year, you learn 2 things early on. The first is that you're the big dogs. You come back to school and you kind of feel out of place for a while. I came back and looked around, and so many people I knew weren't there. You came back and Dallas wasn't here, and Lexi wasn't here, and Joy wasn't here, and it takes a little bit of getting used to. So you settle in, and then the next thing hits you. Every school year is like an hourglass turned over, but this is the final hourglass. And that sand is slipping and sliding, and you can't grab it and you can't hold it. So you just need to go with the whole experience. So still, my senior year was a wonderful experience. For one thing, I had hair. Can you believe that? I had hair. I had a wonderful girlfriend who was a talented person. She was on homecoming court. She was in choir. In today's world, she'd have been a 3-sport athlete. So that was a nice part of the year. In the fall, they elected me class president, and in the spring, they chose me as the most likely to succeed. And our class was a really dominant class because our football team had one of the best teams in school history. And the basketball team experienced something really special because I got to be on a team that went to Louisville and beat Louisville on their home court. And as East Canton people, you know there's nothing better than beating Louisville. And as Coach Miller found out last spring, we won the baseball title, and that wouldn't happen again for 51 years. But still, there I was on that May evening, sitting in the Smith Gym, waiting to graduate. And here you are. Now, you've had, up until recently, a really great year. Football season had lots of good moments, and none better than making a big comeback on Malvern and winning the Hornet Trophy again. Boys cross country went to state. Girls cross country was really good. In basketball season, the girls went to a district final. The boys beat Minerva at home, a special moment, won a tournament game. Erica became the first bowler to advance to state. And academically, you've had really, really good things. We used to think as a faculty it was really something when we had somebody who scored a 30 on the ACT, and you've had 3 with Riley and Brianna and Victoria. And of course, when it comes to spring sports, we don't want to go there too much, but we know we were going to have dominating teams led by our seniors. We just don't know how dominating that would have turned out to be. But still, here you are, waiting to graduate. And now we come to point number 1. I found out that as I reflect on this, I realized that when I crossed that stage, no one ever called me or treated me like a kid again. A week after graduation, I was working for Osborne Township, mowing the road berms. I spent the whole summer that way. No one called me a kid. The next summer, I went to work at Natco Brick for the first half of the summer on a tile line. No one called me a kid. Then I went to Roll Gold Pretzel for the rest of that summer and the next summer. And I did a job there where you take the packaged pretzels on a pallet and store them away. It's a job called Skid Boy, but no one called me a kid. And then in my last summer, I went to work for the post office as a substitute mail carrier, and it was the same experience all over again. And you're going to have that same experience. You see, when you were in the primary school across town there, you were the little rugrats, the little kids, and then you came over here in the elementary school and you were Mrs. Griffith's math kids, and you go to DC and you're Mr. Lineroad's kids, and then you come into high school and you're always kids of some sort. You're the football kids, the cross kids, the NHS kids. You're always kids until you cross that stage. Now, when you cross that stage, you enter an adult world. At school, we do everything we can to prepare you and shape you, but there's some things only the adult life is going to teach you. Now, this has an upside and a downside. So let's talk about the downside just a little bit. Let's say that you're running late. Well, it won't be Carlina who meets you at the door and tells you to sign in and head to class. If you're going to school somewhere, they don't care if you're late. They don't care if you're there at all because you paid for it. If you have a job and you're running late, you just hope you don't run into a supervisor. Let's say that you park someplace that you're not supposed to park. Well, it won't be Mrs. Kimball calling you down for a dear little heart-to-heart. You might be like me. And that summer when I worked for the post office, I started every morning at 6 o'clock, and it was just a nightmarish job. I had all this mail, and I had to sort it all out so it could be delivered in order. And in the background, they're playing elevator music, and every now and then somebody breaks in and says something, and I did everything I could just to block everything out. And then one Saturday, I went out to leave, and I went to my car, and glued, not taped, but glued across my driver's side windshield was a piece of paper that said, "Don't park here anymore." That voice that had been going on had been telling somebody to quit parking where they were. I wasn't very happy, but I got the message. So you're going to have some experiences that cause you some bumps and bruises, but now comes the good news. The good news is that you're going to be shaped into a new and better you. Now, you know from my class, that's just an opinion, and opinions are opinions, they need support. But you also know that one of the types of support is first-person experience. So I'm going to give you 4 little capsule anecdotes that I personally have seen happen, and most all other teachers have seen the same thing happen. I'm going to go way back in the day to 1965, little Augusta High School in Carroll County. When I was a freshman in high school at Augusta, we had 99 students. It was that small. And there was a student there named Larry, and Larry did a lot of things wrong. And when I left town, Larry didn't seem to have too much of a future. So we fast forward, I'm teaching at East Canton, and I go out to the mall to buy some clothes. And I walk in the store and start back through the store, and I see Larry waiting on a customer up ahead, and I wasn't sure what to think. He saw me, waved at me, came up and said, "Mike, how are you doing? What are you looking for? I'll be right with you after I wait on this customer." He promptly did that. He did a terrific job. And it was a delightful visit. He told me he was married, living in Minerva, coaching midget football, and I left just delighted and amazed. Fast forward again to when we were in another building. We had a student there that we weren't quite so sure what was going to happen to him. He didn't have the greatest circumstances. We didn't know how things were going to work out for him. Fast forward again. I'm at Office Max, and I'm going down one aisle, and I look, and an aisle over, there he is. And he looked up and saw me and came to me on a beeline. And it was just wonderful. His face was glowing, his eyes were bright, he had this big smile. He told me that he was going to Stark State, he was studying criminal justice, and he was as happy as could be. Jump ahead to just this past fall. We had a senior last year who just really had an adventure going through high school. He had fits trying to get his work done. We were always worried that he'd be able to graduate. But here he was. He came back to see us last fall, came down to our rooms down in the West End there, visiting with all of us because he wanted us to know how happy he was. He had moved out of his house, he had a good job welding, and he was just so thankful and so pleased, and he was doing great. And just last week, I had a paint customer call me, and this again was somebody who had a tough time going through school, but he graduated. He joined the Heavy Equipment Operators Union and is doing really well for himself because he's bought 20-some acres and built this beautiful home out there. And these are examples of 4 people who have done really well. So this is good support that you too are going to do really well, but we're going to take it one little step further. We're going to go back to that original source. And again, this is something you can count on. This would be like you're doing an experiment for Mrs. Goddard, and she tells you, well, now, this is how the experiment is going to come out, and it does. Or you're getting Mrs. Keller's help with a project, and she says, now, if we work together and do this, this is how your project will come out, and it does. We're going to go back to the first chapter of Ecclesiastes, where it makes a really curious statement. It talks about all these things in the world, and then it says, there is nothing new under the sun. When I originally got this idea, we hadn't got into the whole COVID-19 business, and then we did, and I found myself having to stop and take a look at this. So what I did is I went back and did some reading. I found out that in 1918, and no, I wasn't here for it, in 1918, during that advantage, the Spanish flu, 675,000 Americans died, 50 million people worldwide. And all this social distancing and the things we've gone through, they went through it then. As a matter of fact, a lot of our ideas come from what they experienced. They had the same problems starting the economies again, so they went through that. Oh, and in sports, there was no masks on a McKinley football game that year. So they had a tough time too. So for you, what you've experienced here is really unusual, but it's not new. So to wrap this whole thing up, this is what we have. I graduated, you're going to graduate. And you are not going to be treated like a kid anymore. And there'll probably be some bumps and bruises here and there, but that's fine because they're going to shape that new and better you. Just like these other people I've mentioned, you're going to go on and you're going to have a great deal of success. Class of 2020, you got this. Congratulations.
Good morning. My name is Brandon Martino, and I would like to thank the teachers, family members, friends, and cars that helped us get to this parking lot today. As valedictorian for the class of 2020, it is my honor to virtually deliver this speech to you. Honestly, it kind of takes the pressure off. I mean, this is the 5th take and you guys are none the wiser. But on a more serious note, I'd like to look back at the impact we've made on this school as a whole. We have some of the brightest and most diverse futures laid out here today. Everyone in our class is going somewhere great. Most haven't shaped that greatness into the perfect life 5-step plan, but that's okay. We are taking it one step at a time, wherever life may lead us. And as we've learned, life never goes as planned anyway. Our class will not be forgotten in the classroom, nor will they on the stage, court, field, or track. Now, I'm a little biased here, so bear with me, but 3 state track and field championships all within our years here, and another state championship in cross country to back it up. Not to mention successful playoff appearances in football, baseball, softball, and both basketball teams, followed by numerous Stark County honors, IVC championships, and district and regional appearances. We also have so many students involved in the arts. With our musicals, band performances, echoes, and art shows, the class of 2020 truly has it all. I'm so proud of our success, and I know that that's only a small indicator of what's to come. But all this would not have been possible without support from our brilliant coaches and teachers. Thank you for supporting us through it all, for seeing potential in a bunch of kids who just don't quite fit the mold. I know that back on March 13th, we thought that if we heard another one of old Mr. Loy's jokes, young Mr. Loy's jokes, which are somehow worse, or Miss Raver call something beautiful one more time, that we would climb up those non-existent stairs and throw ourselves down them. But now, those memories we share, they are what bond us in a world so daunting. We will never set foot in East Canton High School as students again. We are on our own, but we have a whole community rooting for us. Now, I would like to take a moment to thank our parents and guardians. These are the people who protect us and who have shaped us into who we are today. Our parents brought us into this world unsure of the state of our nation, and they are saying goodbye with a familiar feeling of uncertainty of what's to come. Our class of 2020 has lived through so many global and individual hardships that we will recognize the world for what it is. We are realists, survivors, and we know that life will not be easy. But we are also hardworking, dedicated, and determined to make a difference. To make life our I can't say that? Okay. To make the best of life. There is no doubt that when this is all over, the world will be changed forever. So class of 2020, I challenge you to go into this new world and shape it into something that we can be proud of. This is our generation, our time, and it's still our vision. The class of 2020 has already made history, and we're just getting started.
Superintendent Finnefrock, Board President Jacob Lesher, and members of the Osnaburg Local Board of Education, I certify that the following seniors have met the prescribed criteria for graduation as set forth by the state of Ohio and the Osnaburg Local School District, and deserve the awarding of their diplomas. It is indeed a pleasure and an honor to present this fine graduation class. Before I announce each student by name, I would like to explain the significance of the colored cords that certain students are wearing. The white cords represent cum laude 3.5 to 4.0. The silver, magna cum laude 3.75 to 4.0. And the twisted blue and gold, summa cum laude 3.9 to 4.0. The white stoles represent a member of the National Honor Society. The purple cords represent a member of the National Technical Honor Society. And the gold and blue cords represent a diploma with honors. And now the graduating class of East Canton High School for the year 2020. Aaron Dwayne Hevlin. Joseph Anthony Lazardo. Kayla Desiree Androwski. Dylan Arlen Lee Olis. Melody Jean Noland. Victoria Catherine Adams.
Congratulations, Victoria.
Thank you.
I'll show you 1, 2, 3. And then you'll go over here. Our next graduate, Savannah Lynn Alm. On 3, 1, 2, 3.
You got claws on your glasses? Okay.
Hannah Taylor Baker.
Congratulations, Hannah.
Hunter Shane Bennett. Congratulations. I'm pretty honored. 1, 2, 3. Kelsey Marie Bybee. Congratulations. Emily Ann Bigler.
Congratulations, Emily. Congratulations. Nice job.
Isabella Rose Bigler.
Congratulations.
Orion Roland Bolds.
Congratulations. Big smile. Look at me.
Jacob Lee Burkett.
Right, Jacob. Smile there, boy.
Congratulations, Jacob.
Cohen Michael Burleson.
Congratulations, Colin. Congratulations, bud.
Great job, Cohen.
You will get right over there to your number.
Devin William Burnell.
Hey, nice job. Like that.
That's great. Michael Christopher Byers. Michaela Cameron Byers. Mason Alexander John Kane. Juliana Marie Saletti.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good job, Julie.
Jaden Christopher Corby.
Congrats. Thank you.
Congratulations, Jade. Nice job. I like the shoes. Caden Daniel Deichman. Congratulations. Alexi Marie Duvall. Congratulations, right there on the end. Yep. Congratulations. Right on, down, off, and then over the. I like your hat. It's great. Michaela Jade Dravon. Congratulations. Congratulations, Michaela. You're gonna go the X. On the X. Right there. Yep. You're okay. You're fine. I turn around. Big smile with John. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Great job. You're gonna go over there to the 2. Tyler Benjamin Evans. Congratulations. Thank you. Congratulations, Tyler. Thank you. Congratulations. Paige Rochelle Friede. Congratulations. Congratulations, Paige. Nice cap. That's great. Turner Robert Giles. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Turner. Congratulations. Sebastian Arthur Hall. Congratulations. Nice shot, Sebastian. Austin Matthew Hamilton. Congratulations, Austin. You're going to go right over there to the one on that side. Oh, you're going to go down the stairs. Down the stairs here, buddy. You don't want to jump. Graduates, you'll go across the stage, down the stairs, and then to the same number on the same side, and we'll get a group photo on that side. Michael James Hanna.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Michael. McKenna Grace Hellwig.
Congrats.
And families, just so we're clear, you can yell, hoot, holler, honk your horn, have as much fun with this as you would like. Malik Vontae Hill.
Congrats.
Thank you, thank you.
Congratulations, Malik. Kobe Michael Hoover.
That's Kobe. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Nigel Malik Jones. And families, if you want to honk your horn, hoot and holler, have fun with this, please. Right on the X button. There you go.
And look at me.
Right there, Mr. McLaughlin, hold it up.
There you go. Thank you.
Great. And then you're going to go over to the other side, and you'll go down there. And congratulations. Jesse Wayne Keene.
Congrats, Jesse.
Congratulations, Jesse. Andrew Joseph Layton. Danielle Elizabeth Lebo.
Congrats.
Your family will. Congrats.
Congratulations. Andrew James Marino.
Congrats. Hold on, let me get. For some reason didn't focus. There we go. Sorry.
Congratulations.
What's that?
Our class valedictorian, Brianna Marie Martino.
One, three, one. Okay.
Right here, right here. Hold your middle up.
There we go.
Thanks. Nice job, Steve. It was awesome. Macy Brielle McLeod. James Michael Milton.
Finally, I'm done. Congratulations.
Way to go, Mikey!
Jaron Eli Mola.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. So right in front of you.
Yeah, right at me, Jaron.
Congratulations, Jaron. Macy May Mucci.
Three, one.
Marie Norma Murphy.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Autumn Lorette Norse.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Like the cap. I like your cap. Looks great. Looks great. Riley Scott O'Brien.
Congratulations.
Ryan James Harrison. Molly Lauren Peterson. Jeremy Ryan Quinn Jr.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Jeremy. Nice job, buddy. Congratulations. And families, you're encouraged to hoot, holler, make as much noise as you want, honk your horn, celebrate these graduates the best we can today. Alexis Ann Reeder. Congratulations. Alyssa Margaret Reeder. On the X. Congratulations. I like your tag. Nice job. Anthony Salvatore Reeder. Right there on the X, baby. Congratulations, thank you. Abigail Ellen Reichert. Congratulations, Abby. Erica Nicole Robinson. Congratulations, Erica. Samantha Ann Rothwell. Perfect. And you go off down there. Congratulations. Caleb Clarence Salyers. Gavin Earl Daniel Schoeneman. Thank you. Congratulations, Dan. Jagger Lee Simmons. Thank you. Congratulations. Elena Jean Smith. Yeah!
Demetrius LeBrian Snellenberger.
Congratulations, Steve.
Caleb Macon Sumter.
Congratulations.
Nathaniel Everett Sunheimer.
Congratulations, Natty.
Way to go, Natty boy!
Good job, Natty. Congratulations.
Bryce Arthur Walton.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Bryce.
Jacob John Waters.
Congratulations, Jacob.
Gregory Aaron Weber II.
Great job, Greg.
Alexandria Morgan Webster.
Congrats.
Thank you. You are loved.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Rhiannon Sky Worsler. East Canton High School Class of 2020 Salutatorian, Victoria Kareth Marie Wirtz.
Put it on the ends.
Congratulations.
Nicholas Anthony Wines. Erica Marie Witter.
Congrats.
Thank you. Another one of my babies is here. You better not.
Congratulations, Erica.
Cassandra Marjorie Wolf.
Somebody can listen. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
It's my honor to present to you this group of the graduating class, East Canton High School 2020. Graduates, at this time, you may move your tassel to the other side. And on the count of three, graduates, we're going to toss our caps here. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Congratulations, graduates. Thank you to parents and families for coming today. If you want to grab some quick photos of you and your graduate, that would be fine. As you exit, just exit to center and then out to 44. Thank you all. Congratulations, graduates. Have a great day. Graduates, you can go back to your cars.
Hello guys, it's Bella, your senior class vice president, and today I'm going to be reading the farewell address. It went by so fast, just like everyone said it would. Soon, we will be packing up our childhood bedrooms and heading into our own world. I can't believe that we are here. Freshman year, it felt like high school would never end and I dreaded it. I cannot say that these years will be the best of my life, but they were pretty good. We have grown together, made mistakes, and have learned from them and created new beginnings. Our class was not able to have the ceremony we deserve, but that doesn't mean that life is put on hold. We shouldn't focus on what we didn't get to do, but what we can do now that we're graduated. It's real world time. Let this be a lesson to all of us. Don't wait until the end to cherish a time you know was filled with love, friendship, lessons, and fun. You might not ever get that chance, even if you take every step to ensure that it happens. Always be grateful and soak up your moment. I wish I could be saying these words and looking at all of your faces. I am forever grateful to my class for all the friendships and fights. I will take everything I've learned and carry it with me forever. I can say that with full confidence, ECHS has given me a chance out in the world that no other school could have gave me. Our teachers are phenomenal, and our class bond is true. But that's enough with the sadness. Our lives start now. What are you guys going to do? What am I going to do? Whatever it is, know this. The path might not always be clear and you cannot go back, but never forget to keep moving forward, even when it's dark. You have a great foundation from here in little old EC. Carry that with you. Invest in yourself. Later in life, I hope to see you all find your purpose. With a heavy heart but high expectations, goodbye, class of 2020.